This is a movie about Bill Goldberg as Santa Claus killing people. That's it. That's really all you need to know. And going into the Santa slasher film, I expected a bad movie, but to be honest, I actually really enjoyed this film a lot. I was thinking of calling it a good bad movie, but there are certain elements of this, and just overall the fact that I enjoyed it a lot, that makes me think that it was actually, honestly, just a decent film. It very much gets to the point, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, and in that vein, I'm gonna get to the point. Let's get to Goldberg killing people. Also, big thank you to Quaid, who used his channel points to have me review this masterpiece. Alright, so the movie kicks off with the shitty Mason family who's about to have Christmas Eve dinner. Just for the laugh, all the characters in the scene are played by Jewish actors, including James Caan and Fran Dresser. You know who else is Jewish? Bill Goldberg, who comes down the chimney as Santa Claus and gets to killing. And he does some pretty efficient kills, which include drowning, a makeshift ninja star, and choking a man on his own turkey leg. So meanwhile, a young teenager named Nicholas Yulson is working at a meat shop when he's confronted by this really angry, nasty-ass old lady. But this lady gets what's coming to her pretty much immediately, as she's able to piss off Goldberg Santa and gets murked right off the road. So anyway, back to Nicholas, who again works at this meat shop with his girlfriend Mac and his boss Mr. Green. He also lives at home with his crazy grandfather played by Robert Culp, who hates Christmas for some reason. Also, for those of you Half-Life fans out there, Robert Culp was also the voice of Wallace Breen. Meanwhile, some dude tries to mug Goldberg Santa, and that goes about as well for him as you would think. Back at Nicky's house, his grandpa shows him some new inventions and also this cool-ass bunker he built for some reason. He asks his grandpa to tell him why he hates Christmas, and his grandpa pulls out the Book of Claws and begins to tell him the tale before his girlfriend interrupts. Meanwhile, again, a crooked minister named Pastor Timmons takes the bills after giving a service to spend on strippers. Unfortunately for him, Goldberg shows up and kills everyone there except for him, and of course the strippers. Haha, nah, just kidding, he kills the strippers too. Back at Nicky's house, he starts being a dick to Mac over his grandfather, and she decides to leave. Alright, so sit down for this one, because now here's the big Santa explanation. He reads the Book of Claws, and turns out that Santa is actually the son of Satan and a devil who once lost a curling match, yes, a curling match, to an angel, and as punishment, he had to deliver presents for 1,000 years. Unfortunately, in this current year of 2005, the deal is now up, which means Santa is once again free to kill. It's now Christmas Day, and Santa shows up at Mr. Green's shop to get some food. Mr. Green is closed though, and Santa doesn't seem to like that too much, and promptly gives him a good old Goldberg spear. And then he does another classic Goldberg move, killing him by pinning him to the wall with his own fucking menorah. Nicky meanwhile goes to get some gum, and the gas station attendant is played by Tom Lister, aka Zeus in the WWF, who unfortunately passed away just 2 days ago. Rest in peace, big man. Nick even hears on a radio that there's been a crime near Mr. Green's shop and goes over there and finds Mr. Green dead. He somehow gets there before the cops do, and they take him down to the station for questioning. Nicky tries to warn Officer Cox, get it cause penis jokes are funny, about Santa's impending rampage, but Officer Cox obviously does not believe him and sends him home. Maybe he should have believed him though, because then Santa shows up and murders the town's entire police department. Meanwhile, Nicky and Mac are driving back to his house before they're pulled over by one remaining police officer. Oh crap, that's not a police officer. Santa gets up on their truck and is all ready to kill them before Nicky's able to load a shotgun and shoot him off. They arrive back at Grandpa's house, but they're not there alone, as Santa shows up and murders some Christmas carolers. Santa makes his way for the house and breaks his way into the bunker, but luckily our heroes have made their way for a convenient secret passage, which leads them to some equally convenient snowmobiles. Unfortunately, one of the snowmobiles stalls, and Santa shows up and confronts Grandpa. While Santa has Grandpa distracted though, Santa's sleigh rolls up behind Grandpa and crushes him, killing him instantly. Nicky and Mac are able to escape on the snowmobile and lead Santa for a wild goose chase which eventually ends at their high school. During this melee, by the way, the crooked pastor lands in Santa's sleigh, but Santa doesn't kill him, rather knocking him out. Santa then begins chasing the two all throughout the high school until they end up in an ice rink, and oh Jesus God, he's got a Zamboni. Luckily, before he can run them over, he's stopped at the last second by Grandpa? Yes, that's right. Turns out Grandpa is the angel that beat Santa in that curling match all those years ago. So logically, Grandpa challenges him to another curling match. If Grandpa wins, Santa has to go back to delivering presents, and if Santa wins, Grandpa has to go to hell. Sounds like a fair bet to me. Unfortunately, Santa's a fucking cheater and just decides to yeet Grandpa down the hole anyway. Santa then uses his fire breath or whatever to try to kill the kids, but Nicky uses one of his grandfather's inventions to deflect the bullet back at him. They pull Grandpa out of the hole and Santa realizes that it's midnight in the North Pole, which means Christmas is over, which means he's got no more powers, so he decides to get the fuck out of there. Since Santa's powerless though, they want to finish him off once and for all, so they enlist the help of Mac's brother and his friends, and they get to work trying to shoot down Santa's sleigh. Mac's dad, however, has a motherfucking bazooka, and he gets the sleigh down a lot more effectively. They then go back to the high school and find Santa dead, stabbed through the flagpole. Except not really, it's actually the pastor who Santa has planted there. And even though Nicky knows that Santa is still out there, he decides not to tell the townspeople the truth, as to not instill more fear in them. We then see the actual Santa in street clothes booking a flight from Winnipeg all the way back to the North Pole. And that's the end of the movie, aside from a very short end credit scene where Santa looks at the camera and says Goldberg's catchphrase of "Who's next?" So one thing I gotta give this movie major credit for is how incredibly well it was paced. This movie had a total runtime of only 78 minutes, which was only about 72 if you take away the opening and end credits. And I feel like this is a perfectly paced slasher film because it didn't waste any time. They know what we wanted Goldberg killing people, and they didn't waste any time at all getting to that. I honestly can't think of one point in this movie that was filler. It all moved along necessarily. There wasn't anything, there was some plot moments, sure, outside of the killing, but there wasn't anything in this movie that felt unnecessary. They didn't fill anything in, they didn't try to make it an hour and a half or try to make it 2 hours. They just made the movie the way it should be and the length it should be. And I gotta give them major props on how well they paced this. And yes, this movie was poorly acted. Was it funny? Kinda, at points. It had its moments. Some of the jokes hit, some of the jokes missed. But was it enjoyable? Yeah, I'd say so. I actually enjoyed it a lot. So honestly, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, if you want about an hour and 15 minutes of some good Christmas slasher fun, I would recommend checking out this movie, because it's a legitimately decent film. But it's not the ultimate Christmas movie, and trust me, we will be taking a look back at the ultimate Christmas movie next week as we take a possibly controversial look back at Die Hard. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for my review of Santa's Sleigh. Again, I would recommend checking it out. It is a very brilliantly paced, fun slasher film, and if you don't take it too seriously, then you can have a lot of fun with it. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to do it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, be sure to like it. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the description down below. Thank you all 57 of my patrons for supporting me and all my channels. With all that being said, though, my name is Taffords Teen. This has been my review of Santa's Sleigh, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.